Alright. What the heck's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We've got Showtime in the bottom left side of the map. Tobias Ziba up against Shin in the top right side. Shin is a beast. He is the favorite in this matchup, I would say, but it's a hard matchup for him because he is playing against the German wall. Demour, the wall, the fortress, the guy who likes to defend and just utilize that defensive advantage. He's very strong at just sitting there and camping. And that is why I really think Shin's going to struggle with his Roach Hydra timing attacks, his Roach Ravager Queen shoves, and all these kind of early mid-game timings that he normally has success with, which is why I actually expect Shin to play the opponent here and to play a bit greedier than normal. And I actually think this series will be decided by Mutalisks. I have that read because that's generally something which catches a very defensive guy like Showtime off guard. Especially we might see, I wonder if we'll see the fake Hydra into Mutalisks. That would be really cool. That would be especially cool. Like, there's been a few builds recently where players build a couple of Hydras, go Mutas. There's been people go Roach Ravager Ling, get in their opponent's face, bam, the Muta swap comes. And usually it's a pivot into mass Muta. I don't know if we'll see that here at all, but it's definitely like a single wave of Mutalisks. It's okay. But the mass Mutalisk, oof, that's been quite powerful. Of course, you can just go for like 8 to 14 Mutalisks and then transition Lurker behind it. And the Mutas force so many cannons and batteries and Phoenix, and then the Lurker timing can be hard to deal with. What I love about Showtime's start is he knows 12 pull's very unlikely, so he takes a really greedy opening. And he's going for the Gateway Cybercore there. He built another Gateway here to reinforce this wall off and make it super solid. And you can just see the difference here, where this wall off very nicely placed. I think it was Hero. We were just casting a game. We built the gateway here. So the Cybercore had to go behind the pylon as well. And it was just pylon sitting on the outside of the wall looking very lonely. But yeah, this is a very greedy build for Showtime, guys. Like no scout, just, hey, 12 pool. No one does 12 pool at the moment. And I've been wondering, hey guys, if no one's doing 12 pool, why isn't every Protoss going gas first and not scouting? Like at least 1 or 2 games in a best of 5. Punish Zergs for not doing an early drone block, not doing 12 pool. These early aggressive things aren't coming out. Zergs are very defensive. They're very predictable right now. So it's been shocking to me that so many games of PvZ open up with a gate scout. For me, it feels like Protoss players are kind of like resting on their laurels a lot of the time. They're just like, oh, I got a gate scout every game to be safe. Zaun, Showtime, 2 of the guys, a classic as well. 3 of them probably being the biggest offenders in that regard, in my opinion. So it's cool to see Showtime, a guy who had lumped in that box of just kind of doing the same opening for comfort and not prioritizing getting the little advantage. Actually mixing it up here. Takes an advantage, goes for the double adept. He's a big fan of double adept. He loves this. 4 more lings are on the way. It'll be 8 lings, but they're not ready for a few more seconds. So only 2 popping on the natural. You know he's going to dive here. He's going to shade towards the main while running into the natural. And he throws that shade. Lings come forward. Oh, got to be careful. Does get 2 lings. Takes a little bit of damage. And I think he doesn't let this finish, surely. Oh, he goes for it. Mad Dog Showtime takes out 4 lings, 1 drone. Can he get another drone? Answer is not on the first volley, but maybe on the second. Oh, he missed targets. Oh my god, he missed targets again. Okay, he does get 2 drones at the end of the day. 2 drones and 4 Zerglings for 2 adapts. Units lost tab. Slightly in the Zerg favor, but killing drones? Does he force more lings? He didn't force more lings. Good discipline for Shin to not panic buildings, but he got supply blocked during it. So there's still damage. Now Showtime ready to defend this 3rd base. Oracle is overhead. 2nd Oracle coming out, getting chrono boosted as well. And I'd say even though that did some damage, the dearth of gateway units means Showtime has to be very defensive with his Oracles. Gives you a bit of room as Showtime to recover that damage. And I think it'll be pretty much a wash. Both players coming out in a pretty similarly even position. Pylon goes down in the natural. 3rd and 4th gas looks like will be next. Yeah. Pretty typical opening. All right, nice adept positioning. Warps 1 in on the reverse as well to back it up. Still has an adept in the wall off. Super organized for Showtime, as you'd expect. And no Spore Crawler. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he goes for the 4th. Oh, a bit greedy. Does take a lot of damage. I think that's fine, right? You got 3 drones, which is still good. Still annoying for the Zerg, but it really diminishes your ability to do that again. These Oracles. Gonna be good for map control. Not very good for diving near Queens and Spores in the future, so Shin might feel comfortable skipping that Spore entirely. Lair and Roach Warren about to go down. More Adepts are warping in. Does look like Showtime would like to go join up the Adepts and Oracles for that 4 to 6 Adept poke across the map. 3 Oracles now out. Still no Spore here. And he's going to lose at least 1, I think. Oh. 5, 6 drones. I think that might be worth the Oracle. I mean, an Oracle costs like a ton of money, right? 300 resources, but you killed 300 and it's 300 drones. So Showtime's building economic leads. This can hurt you if the Zerg pivots into a big counterattack and doesn't care about losing their drones. But the longer this game goes, the more these little bits of worker losses stack up to be excellent for the Protoss player. Splitting the Adepts, is it worth? Gonna let those guys finish in the 3rd. Good drone pull away though. He's only gonna get 2 drones. Those Adepts will go down. Oracles are on that side. These Adepts shading forwards. Once again, just a threatening shade. Lings will, of course, force that to cancel. Showtime has a battery up in the 3rd. Stalker's coming down. He's going to go 6 gas. And we'll see that Templar Archives drop in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. There it is. This is just like the joy of going, I just cast a Hero PvZ series and going from that to casting Showtime. The reason I'm laughing is I'm always like, I think Hero needs to do this, and it'll take like 3 minutes to do it while doing other crazy random stuff that's like, you just can never predict. Showtime is so much more logical. You can really read his mind. There's a weakness to this in that Hero can usually tell what he's going to be doing next as well, right? Because he's predictable, he's logical. It's crazy to say, but there is a weakness to being too logical in that your opponent can read your next play, right? It's not surprising, I think, to Showtime that Storm's about to get chrono boosted here. And actually a slight delay on this. Showtime not starting Storm straight away. Did he think he started it? Maybe. Oh, this could be one of those things where he selected it, pressed the button, didn't quite have enough money, but he thinks it's going. Because it's with his style, it doesn't make sense to just get that for Archons. He's got the gas banking. Oh, he's going to get a cancel on the 4th. That's huge. And now he just defends with Psystorm against the Hydra counterattack. Except he's forgotten to start Storm. Showtime. Not going to be happy when he realizes. I hope he realizes sooner rather than later. There we go. Storm finally starts up. Chronos it. Does warp in High Templar at that 3rd base. I think it'll be ready in time still, but Infestation Pit going down for SHIN. 4th base going down really puts him in a bad spot. This feels like, honestly, yes, SHIN's got good supply, but Showtime has all the pieces he needs. Like, you're going to be able to hit a Hydraling pressure into a ton of Psystorm. If SHIN can deny a 4th, while adding some drones of his own and going to Hive, even though it's a bit of a belated Hive, he can turn this into a good game. But he's really got to slow down the 4th of Showtime and hopefully find some small backstabs or little trades here or there, which could help him out. Interestingly, Armor goes in for Showtime. Armor, of course, going to help out the Zealots. A lot against Zerglings, help the general survivability. Robo, it's cheaper and faster upgrade as well. Robo goes down. Oracle tag the Hydras. Keeping these Oracles alive is crucial for Showtime. How does MaxPack's playstyle contrast with Showtime and Hero? Showtime purely defensive. Hero wildly aggressive, but also unpredictable. Can do a bit of everything. He's just going to do it in his own weird way. Hero prioritizes messing with his opponent over anything else. MaxPack's very consistent, but not as defensive as Showtime. Even though he's still relatively defensive in terms of his early game, he is a guy who in the mid game will attack 2-3 sides non-stop and try to out-multitask his opponent, whereas Showtime, you can see here, just pulling into a very defensive stance, delaying his 4th base because he saw SHIN had a big army, and he's just going to really turtle it out. Like, Showtime is absolutely the guy who, you know, you're like, okay, sir, we need you to attack from that side. And he goes and sets up and just digs a trench facing his opponent's position and just starts to build, you know, defenses. He's absolutely Caesar at Elysia, right? Elysia, is that it? The one where he circumvallates, whatever it is, where he basically builds a fortress around the Gorlick city with Mr. Vercingetorix inside. That's like Showtime's not, you know, Hero's Napoleon. He'll just frontal assault YOLO. Showtime, he's poking. I guarantee you he will not force the issue here. He's going to go 2 Stargate Tempest. Doesn't even clear the creep just yet. He's just poking around for map control, but you can see he's very paranoid about getting surrounded. And because of that, you can afford to be a bit greedier against him. Pig, do you know if skins affect the unit AI in-game? A streamer was testing roaches and hydras with the skin evolved roaches. The ones with skin almost always lose for the ones with no skin. They shouldn't. I'd need to see the test. Probably just didn't realize what they were... There was probably some other factors. Ooh, storm coming in. Nice storms landing, but the lurkers have a really good position. Dude, he should not have let the lurkers get this deep. Showtime, his stasis trap's working against him. This is a terrible fight for Showtime angle-wise. He needs some more storms. The High Templar finally come through. But Showtime, an incredibly bad fight. He should have just pulled back, recalled half of his army to the natural, and flanked around the right side. Showtime panicking. He should not have let SHIN get this position. Nice storms do go down, clearing the Roach Hydra, but he's already lost everything that's not High Templar. High Templar going to take forever to clear this army out. And this is a disastrous turn of events. And this is what I said. Showtime's very commonly getting caught out because he sits so turtly and defensive. Often he'll just be a little out of position because he has less map vision than most players by sitting at home. And he will get caught by a surprising attack. That's what happened here. Caught with his pants down, takes massive damage. And now SHIN is just miles ahead. The High Templar getting focused by the Roaches. There's no supporting army left. And that was an awkward battle. Sorry for getting distracted by that question. I thought this game was going to calm down for the next, like, 4 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, SHIN's moving forward for a poke, but look at Showtime's map vision. This is a huge mistake to have such a small army on the left side. And it's almost mostly a Zealot army as well. This is really awkward. I mean, he should have been able to slow this army down. He should have intercepted it much further out. But his oracles were too far on the other side of the map. I think he should have been tagging and tracking the army a little bit more. He's almost at Tempest. He has 2 Stargates and Fleet Beacon. Tempest can obviously hard counter this. But even if he just stormed the lurkers more on the way in, he'd be fine. As it is, once these stasis traps landed, they actually kind of ruined him. He needed to send this army left right now. Get it through your wall off and defend here. Lose the wall off, doesn't matter. Other army comes from the right side. Split all of these zealots up here to counterattack and then bring them in as a flanking force from behind. And just wait until the wall's down and then attack from here, here, and from here with the zealot flank after the stasis trap is gone. But attacking into the stasis trap, oh man, it's crazy. These Zerglings blocked his own units so badly. And all of his High Templar were just so far behind. So this is just a really bad fight. He kind of panicked a little bit because he saw his natural getting breached. And he made the mistake of thinking he could overwhelm. GG, nice game 1 for SHIN. All right, guys, Showtime. Really good position in game 1. But lack of map vision. And I think, you know, these panicked reactions only happen when you lack the map vision because you see things so late. Oh, are we going to go for a hatchery block? Hello. SHIN moving out for a hatchery block opening by the looks of it. Unless he's going to take the purple gas. What? Oh, no. He was just going in that direction. He's diverted. Showtime arrives there. He's going to try and block this hatchery. We'll be able to get that block down. SHIN's going to have to go take a 3rd base. Going to take that out on the left side. Showtime going for the gateway and the pylon here. Oh, what? Hatchery first, blocking the natural. What? What is this? And he's kind of blocking the wall off a little bit as well. Is he trolling, guys? Is this a serious build? Drone's hiding here. He's waiting for this probe to move. This is such a big commitment. I think when they go hatchery first in your base, 2-gate makes perfect sense. Normally, 2-gate, you could consider a bit of an over-response, just pull probes, but I think 2-gate single gas is the best response here for Showtime. Go for the 2 Zealot, 2 Adept counter pressure, while get the Zealots to clear this up, send them across once they clear it up, and then, yeah, build a pylon now. But you do this all off 1 gas, I think. I don't think you bother with the 2nd gas. The Zealots will get rid of this pretty fast. And you're going to need a 3rd pylon potentially as well, so saying single gas might be the key. He's going to take 2nd gas. Wow. And look at this, guys. 3rd hatchery finally goes down, but so late. He's going gas pool, so SHIN. I mean, it's going to mess the build orders up here. Let's see how Showtime handles it. I have no idea. This is so interesting. So he chronos 2 Zealots. Notice he doesn't build another Zealot there. He wants to just build the Adepts straight away. So there'll be 2 Adepts coming out. Needs 200 minerals and 50 gas. See, 1 Adept starts, and then just before the Zealot finishes, he should get 100 minerals, 25 gas, so he can start up another Adept. Hasn't started it just yet. There we go. Does start it now. Now, Hatchery's going to die pretty quickly. Now, Queen comes out behind this for SHIN, but he doesn't have his natural up. He's got this one halfway built over at the 3rd base. Does SHIN build Zerglings here? Normally what SHIN does, I think, is he waits until you move out, and then he'll build the Zerglings to threaten. And if you bring your units back, he can cancel them. 6 Lings building at home. Ling speed is already on the way. It's a very quick Ling speed. Wants to move down to clear up this probe now. You can see those 6 Lings do build. Broodlings going after the Zealots, but the Zealot just holds the choke point. Nicely done. And he cancels the Zerglings in the base and just keeps the 2 there, or the single egg. Showtime has to leave a Zealot, but it's actually an Overlord. It is not a Zergling. It's going to go across the map. The Overlord does pop out. Showtime could rally those Adepts to the front. He's already got 2 over here, but with Ling speed so early, you got to be careful as Showtime. You don't want to be losing these units. And he's, of course, waiting for the creep to clear. He's going to go Stargate in the meantime. Pretty decently timed Stargate. But if these Lings get a surround on these gateway units, it's all worth it for Shin. If he can't surround them, and he has to build all these Zerglings and then just sit here down 5 workers dealing with Oracles, that's when he's in huge trouble. So he's hiding the Lings, so he's waiting for Ling speed. Hatchery's taking a lot of damage. 2 more Adepts are here. Ling speed 10 seconds out, maybe? 10, 15? It's 15 harder to swarm seconds, guys. That's going to be very quick. Ling speed's almost here. Showtime could commit to the hatchery if he's willing to just click it and then recall. No recall. Oh, he's going to click it. He's clicking it. He's shading away. He's going to just try to save the Adepts. Oh, no. It's not going to go down. It survives on 11 hit points. The Adepts are in the main base. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Spy Crawler goes down to block the Adepts as well. Oh, damn. Shin on fire right now. The Adepts, if they can get over and do some... Can they finish it? Can they finish it? They're going to finish it. They're going to finish it. Oh, gotcha hatchery, says Showtime. Much like someone grabbing a child's nose and taunting them about it, the hatchery does go down. The Adepts all fall, though. There is a new hatchery art. I think that's good enough for Showtime, but there's also like a billion Lings on the map, so he's got to be very careful about taking a third base here. Lings are coming in, Oracle going forwards. Notice he leaves the other Adepts to the side so he can quickly wall off if he needs to. Doesn't need to move anything out of the way. Oracle gets 1 drone, 2 drones. Not bad. I think early damage is massive because you're on such a low worker count as Shin. Every drone you lose is really big. Doesn't have that third base started rebuilding yet. Lots of Lings are out. Oracle goes forward. There's still 4 Adepts at home. 2 Oracles. But there is a Spore Crawler on each base. The problem is for Shin, there's only 2 Queens, so these Oracles can just find rallying drones. That'll be really big. And actually, an idle drone over there in the open. Showtime's like, ooh, thank you. Grabs a freebie. And then we'll pull back. Showtime does need to move out and secure a third base. He's got a lot of Adepts right now. I think he should focus on being a bit more defensive rather than aggressive. The Lings are in such numbers. Doesn't have an easy answer to them. Look at that. Oracle grabs a drone. Oh, quick Evo chamber for Shin. Showtime had already turned his laser off, though, so wouldn't have been able to get that drone anyway. Adept does pull out of the wall. He corrects it. Hopefully that's moving forward, because right now he's a bit open to it. Stasis trap in the main base. Beautiful defense by Shin, handling things well. Only a slight disruption to his mineral mining. And the third Nexus is coming up. Showtime going to try and normalize this game. A lot of players, when the game gets messy, they go for scrappy all-ins. Showtime, his answer almost always is to stabilize, calm things down, and get back into control in a situation where he has the most experience. Blinkstalkers, Oracles, Storm, tech to late game. That is where Showtime wants to take this match. Shin, on the other hand, is the one who's more likely to want to make this a little bit messy. Going for an Evo chamber and down 6 workers is a very rough start. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit sick right now, so we're just having to clear the throat, mute the microphone as I cast, so there will be the occasional silent stretch, but we've got so many good games to commentate, and I don't want to let these ones get too old. It's kind of the craziest month of StarCraft we've seen, with the road to the World Cup basically just being a billion tournaments crammed in back-to-back, 2 GSL seasons, DreamHack Dallas, a week of online qualifiers across the entire world, and Stara Zagora in Bulgaria. It's just an insane period of qualifiers going on and so many matches. So I don't want to miss these, man. Maybe I should do 2 uploads a day some days as well, even on YouTube. I don't know. I'm like, how do I get all these games out in time? So I think there will be a little bit of a lull, I guess, after GSL Season 2 ends. Before there will be the final closed online qualifier, I think 22nd of June, I think it is. So about 2 weeks out from when I'm casting this. And then a few weeks after that will be the World Cup in July over there in Riyadh. Not sure if we're having it in Qadiyah yet or whatever, the new entertainment city they're building. but not sure if that's ready for it or not. We'll see. Anyways, Lings are roaming. Lairs coming up. We've got 60 more drones, 50 Zerglings already, 7 Adepts, 3 Stalkers. Lings are pulling away. 3 Oracle's going to be pulling south. Thanks for the love, guys, in the chat. Yeah. I don't feel too bad, but I did sleep a very long time yesterday, so the throat and it's slightly congested, you know? Baneling Nest, Hydra Den going down. Wow. Is SHIN going to go for the latest Hydra Bane player of all time? I mean, Banes are good for defending Storm timings. Guys, why is... Oh, Showtime's afraid to go Storm. Is he? He's going Arc on Zealot right now. Now he starts Storm. Showtime looking a little paranoid. I think he must have thought this was more of an all-in. But, yeah. He's going to add Storm. He's making extra cannons and batteries. Yeah, talk about insurance. He's also going 12 gateways on 3 base, which is an immense gateway count. I guess he's going to take this 4th base on the right side. It makes no sense to build this wall off and this static defense if you're going to expand to the corner like I see most players do. So I think he takes this one up here and then defends all the ramps, which is a good way to do it. No blink, by the way. So he is lacking that maneuverability. I said Mutalisks would decide this series. They still might, but I haven't seen a sign of them just yet. Stalkers take out the Overseer. Prism on the right side. Showtime set up. I mean, who wants to attack into Storm, Cannon, Stasis Battery, right? Bane Speed's on the way. Overlord Speed as well. I think Bane Speed, like I said, it's very good defensively. It's one of the most useless attacking abilities in this matchup. If the Protoss players, are, like top tier Protoss players, basically just storm your Banelings down. It's not effective. Lings come in and get a Stasis surround on the High Templar. Zealots do take out a Queen. There's a Prism in the main. The Hydra's shutting it down. Clean defense right now for SHIN. The Zealot drop in the main also has to pick up and fly away. Just spread his units around this. He'll kill most of the Zerglings, or at least a good number of them. I do feel like the Immortal count is a little low, especially if Hive comes in. You know what's kind of funny about this? Because you don't have any normal ranged army as Showtime. It's just a few Archons, couple of Stalkers with no Blink and Storm. Good against Hydra Bane, but he's got to find a way for his Zealots to not just headbutt into Banelings. And we've got a Doom drop coming in, so it's going to be basically mass Ling drop in the main, Hydra Bane hitting the front, maybe Bane drops hitting as well. Showtime finally taking a 4th. He's taking the 4th that I said doesn't really make that much sense with the way he's walled off, but obviously he was a little bit paranoid earlier on. SHIN is not trading amazingly well. I mean, I think he was way behind in the trading from earlier in this game, actually. Nexus does get cancelled. Showtime's 4th, starting only at 10.5 minutes. I've said for a long time, I wish, since SHIN almost always all-ins on layer tech, never goes Hive, I wish more players would max out on 3 base before taking a 4th against him. I've said for a while this is an obvious hard counter to his style. It's really good to see Showtime doing it. The only problem I have is like the lack of long-range units, so maybe good positioned Hydras can get him. Oh, Prism barely survives. Massive Ling Doom drop trying to go down the left side. That does get spotted. There's not much mobile anti-air to deal with it. Ling Hydra Bane will clean up these Zealots. At the same time, Zealots running in on this base. Queens are dying everywhere. More Stalkers warping in. Oh no, SHIN derping with that drop. Oh, he zigged when he should have zagged. Stalker's going to take down all but one of the Overlords, I think. Actually, he might even get that last one. It's so low, barely. An 8 Ling drop will get in the main. Units lost. Looking really good for Showtime now. 2,000 ahead. 2 Stalkers on the edge of the main. You can easily just build a Phoenix or something to get rid of that. I think it would be worth it just to shut down the future threat there. No cannons in his main or natural. I would love to see that. And these Banelings actually could have busted that Adept and maybe gone in. Left side of the map, Mass Hydra Bane. It's a lair attack all in. This is why I think mutas are really important, because this style that SHIN does, it allows Protoss to just sit on 3 base and just basically mass cannon battery storm, and it's kind of immune to Roach Hydra and Hydra Bane all-ins. And there was a while there where SHIN was having great success with this, and I couldn't understand why every player kept trying to take a 4th base at 6 minutes against him. I was like, you know, there's a point where if your opponent has such a narrow range of mid-game timings where they kill you, you've got to prepare for those. And every Protoss player was like, no, I need a 4th base. And I was like, really? When you're playing against lair tech Zerg units, there's no lurkers. I don't really understand that obsession, but I think it was just one of those things where every other Protoss player was playing against Zergs that were playing 4 base, 5 base Hive tech, and they kind of just got stuck in a certain mode. Big Stasis Trap on the right. Big Ling Bane army coming forward. Arc on battery. Very good against this. The High Templar!
Showtime walking 5 full energy High Templar into the Banelings. A massive blunder for Showtime. He does energy recharge and lands into the storm. The Banelings actually pulled away from the probes into the Archons. A little bit of a mistake there for Shin, but dude, the start of this fight, a huge blunder for Showtime. 14 probes going down. Zealot counter though in the bottom left doing big damage. Zealot counter on the right side as well. If he can defend at home, he's gonna rip apart Shin's economy with that counter, but his natural is wide open to the Hydra Bane. Zealots hit the natural, they're ransacking it. Bottom left side, the drones are gonna kill those Adepts, which is hilarious to say. But it looks like the Hydra Bane has been pushed back. 58 workers to 59. Low economy on both sides. But remember, the gas income is what survives these sort of messy trades, and that always favors Protoss over Zerg. If you end up on a similar income, Protoss can still make High Templar with energy recharge and Archons, which are super good core fighting units. Zerg needs a lot of minerals to make more Lings, Banes, Hydras. Yes, they need gas as well, but it's mostly about minerals. And losing all those workers means Protoss should be favored in these low economy situations. Third base did die, though, so he's got to rebuild that. So many stasis traps. Holy moly. Start to the fight, though, for Showtime. This is why I'd like to see Showtime get more aggressive. It's because he's making defensive blunders. If you play defensive like this, you can't afford defensive blunders like walking those High Templar into storms. It feels like maybe it's just adrenaline's pumping a bit too much. He's got to be a little more calm under pressure. Good Hydra angle for Shin, but he doesn't have the numbers. The numbers are too close and the storm is too good. Shin's going to tap out there and Showtime survives. We've got to watch his camera because I'm wondering how he wins this game, but he made it so much harder than it needed to be. Where was his camera? Like, what was his map control like at this point? So his army's here. He's got the High Templar in reserve. He has no vision in the middle. Where are his oracles, guys? He's spamming stasis traps, which is cool, but like, he doesn't have many stasis traps here. He's got the watchtower. He's not tracking the enemy army. 2 games in a row, Showtime hasn't tracked Shin's army, and he's got caught off guard and massively messed up what should have been a pretty straightforward defense. So essentially, I think if Showtime in game 3, this ties up the series 1-1. If Showtime in the next few games can actually keep his Oracle tracking Shin's army in the mid game, I think he's going to have a lot more success. So he's looking down here. He looks up there. He sends his army defending micros, the Archons. He doesn't realize his High Templar are so far ahead of his army. And yeah. If he just had a few more seconds to deal with that, would have been so much better. Shame these Banelings pulled away from those probes, eh? I think he kills them all anyway, right? Yeah, a few of them escaped that would have died otherwise, actually. So yeah, would have been nice. I don't think it would have mattered, though. Shin was a bit too far behind from this early game. All right. Let's go. Showtime in the top left. A very nice defense. I gotta say, Zerg player Shin threw the kitchen sink at him last game, in the early game, and Showtime handled it with poise. It was really nicely done. And he's going to go for an early block, something which he's not doing as commonly as some of these other more aggressive Protoss players. Really cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, we saw that repeat flaw of him tracking the Zerg army poorly in the kind of late mid-game. Even though it was 12 minutes or whatever it was, 11 minutes, it was definitely late mid-game. They'd had a very slowed down pace of the game from the early aggression. But yeah, I also really admire the way Showtime got the snipe on the third. I think a lot of players would have panicked there and like not got the third base. But he did a really good job. Forced a lot of Lings, got the third base. Yes, he lost a lot of gateway units to do it, but he was macroing well behind at the same time. So I got to admire the way Showtime navigated the chaos in that last game. But definitely, you know, I know that like people in Twitch chat, they'll be like, throw time, and stuff like this whenever he's playing recently. But there definitely is like a thing where just the passivity in the mid game, it's perfectly fine. Like I don't think there's a problem with that as a playstyle. He just needs to scout better with his like vision to make sure it's like there just needs to be that like 5% extra awareness of where the enemy army's coming from. It's like, hey, I know my opponent's still trying to kill me, still trying to catch me out of position. Let's focus on that, because he's an absolute beast the longer the game goes. I do know, though, like, late game, he has a bit of a mental block, I think, around Mural Parasite and Festers, I would say, where a few years ago he was really struggling. Raynor kept making sick comebacks against him with that, so I doubt Shin really has that in his arsenal. I don't think Shin wants to go to Hive Tech. If he does, it's for a lurker timing, finish the game as quickly as possible, and you know, try to get the game over. He doesn't want to drag a game out against Showtime. Showtime, on the other hand, much happier to chill to late game and get there, so... You know what? I've said Showtime's defensive. It's the best of 5. He could still do like an 8-gate blink all in or something like that.
He could still do a glaive attack after an Oracle. He's a very good player. Showtime's won championships before. He knows that he can't be too predictable, right? So he's a player, he's like, I know doing a blink all-in might not be my best strategy, but it's still something he'll practice and be like very, very adept at doing it so that he can mix it in. So you can't completely blind counter Showtime or anything like that. As much as he's more predictable, kind of like Serral is, these guys will still mix in that you know, attack once in a while just to keep their opponents on their toes. Depth Shade goes into the main base. Oh, Pylon before Oracle. Okay, normally it's Oracle into Pylon. Not a big deal. Just slight optimization. Alright, double Adept. He loves his double Adept pokes, doesn't he? Only 4 lings in the main. He can commit. He can commit to this. But he wasn't deep enough. And actually, oh, the lings aggro out here. So he gets 4 ling kills? Uh-oh. Shin, that was a huge mistake. Shin needs more lings right now. He's only got 2 lings and 2 queens on this. Depth's gonna shade? Yes, they are. Oh, he gets split though. Ah. Okay. 2 drones and a few zerglings. Pretty good defense by Shin considering. At the end of the day, 7 lings and 2 drones is still good damage. Showtime's still okay with that, but just the tail end of it wasn't as smooth as the start. Getting those 4 lings in the middle was already amazing. Oracle coming in towards the main base. 1 queen, 1 spore though. Should be able to defend if he pulls the drones away. Doesn't even pull the drones away. Spore builds on the natural. This drone is going to pop into danger. How quickly can Shin build with it? Oh, both players not watching. As the Adept tries to fend off these Zerglings. 3rd Nexus on the way. 2nd Gateway. Oh, is that? Oh, okay, that is a proper choke point. Yeah, I like this wall off. Very solid wall off. He's going to go 4 gas, so we'll expect Twilight and Forge sometime in the next 15 seconds to go down. On the other side, it's an Evo chamber. Looks like a fast melee build for Shin. Well, not that fast, but a melee build. Double Oracles go in. Queen pushes them away. Double Adept on the left side. There are some lings nearby, but he's in the mineral line. I love how quickly Shin's been pulling drones. You have to do this, otherwise Showtime will get crazy damage with these Adepts, but by pulling him away, he can't just sit in the little nook that he finds himself in. And 1 Adept goes down. Adept will cancel the shade. Could have tried to recall it. He doesn't though, which means it'll probably go down. Good block there by Shin. Stops her first avenue of retreat. And just 1 more ling goes down. So 2 Adepts there for just 2 drones, a bit of mining time, and 2 Zerglings at the end of the day, which is pretty good for Showtime. Uh-oh. Probes transferring out. Lings do see it. At the same time, Oracles dive the main. No transfuse nearby. Which means the Oracles will take out a Queen. Very nice. Feels like it's been a good build for Showtime. That being said, +1 and Blink only starting at 5.5 minutes. I tend to play this late Blink as well when I play. But it's funny because I've been watching a lot of Zaun. Zaun has Blink almost finished by now a lot of the time. Like, Zaun will delay his +1 a little. He might delay his probing slightly, but he'll be on the map with Stalkers already with his Oracles. So, like, he likes to just get in the Zerg's face. Whereas Showtime is like, well, dude, I have the sickest income. I've got 6 gas really fast. Like, I got a good +1 timing. But his Blink is later, and he's more static. Like, his Adept Oracle phase is obviously a bit more committed than a lot of other players. But his Stalker aggression definitely is much lighter than some of those other Protoss players. It's a very different pace. I think Shin's done a good job of adapting to it. 4th hatchery's coming up as well. So it's straight Ling Hydra. Did he build a Roach Warren? No safety Roach Warren in this game. Glaive Adepts would be a nightmare to deal with, but hey. Mass +1 Zerglings on the map. Gonna go for the cannon. I would have liked him to just surround those units. Blink wasn't done. I think Shin just missed a huge opportunities. The Oracles were out of the map. He could have surrounded, kept like 6 Zerglings attacking the cannon, and actually killed a bunch of stuff. I mean, that would have been a perfect trade timing. I do think... I think because his melee is not done, he was like, well, I don't want to trade before my upgrade, but getting in there before Blink is ready is huge. I think he's not used to Blink being this late, so he probably assumed they could just Blink to safety. Showtime not getting punished, though. Showtime adding a 2nd Forge and Psystorm. I hate 2nd Forge builds normally, because normally when people do it, they don't get Storm. He goes Storm into 2nd Forge. I think this is a way better version of doing this. Oh, look at that. The gateway, lots of surface area. Shin identifies a weakness there. Trades maybe 2 or 3 Zerglings for a gateway snipe. Super worth it. That's awesome. Stalker, Adept, Oracle on the front. But the Hydra count's growing. Baneling Nest on the way again. I'd love to see Shin focus not so much on that on the Banelings. But look at this. Ling Flank comes in. Double Stasis Trap. Lings from behind. Hydra's coming forward. Groove Spines is already done, which means the Hydras have +1 range, but they can't really chase off creep. And there's only 1 Oracle, or 2, sorry, with their lasers turned on. Stalker's trying to pull away. Uh-oh, he's getting surrounded. It's a real big problem here. Oh my gosh, Showtime. I feel like he should have just pulled into the corner and either recalled or stood and fought with the Oracles overhead, since he was pretty far away from those Hydras, but instead it's a very disorganized retreat. Turns into a little bit of a rout. You can see the units lost have now in Shin's favor. He's got 15 Hydras and 50 Lings on the map. I'd love to see Shin keep attacking. I think Shin can kill him right now, or at the very least deny the 4th. But Shin's pulling back for what? Bane speed is not a strong point anymore. This has been one of the things I know I've been ranting about it. Bane speed is garbage. It's good for defending Storm timings, Zealot timings. It doesn't attack well. I really feel like wasting time for Banelings right now is giving Showtime time to reinforce his ground army. So now he's got more support for the High Templar. He can maybe get some cannons and batteries. You got to stay active here. You got to deny this 4th base. Looks like 1 Oracle died on the right side. I know Shin has a giant income, but without drops, 87 workers, it feels like he's going into, he's delving into Showtime's territory, which is Lake Him, Double Star, Fleet Beacon. To be fair, that might be too early. Zealots are going to run into these Banelings a little bit. Banelings, that's their best case scenario, is hitting Zealots and High Templar. Left side, he has a good army split there, though. Cannon battery coming up. I do think Shin may have given Showtime some time to get ready, but Showtime's spending a lot of money on this future tech for Stargate. It's not ready just yet. Pylon's going to go down on that right side. A couple of probes will fall, but not too many. 4 probes to start. A gas, not the end of the world, as long as Showtime re-walls and hopefully gets a proper big, thick building guarding us. A gateway again, as the Hydras tore that first gateway down. Massive surround. Massive surround coming in for Shin. Banelings, ooh, they eat some pretty big storms, but how much more storm do you have? It's all coming from the south side. I gotta say, overall, pretty decent defense, but the supply disadvantage is crazy, and I actually think Showtime needs to build more Stalkers here. I think he just needs more long-range units that shoot his probes. They're not getting pulled out. Okay, he pulls the probes away. Does wait a little long on it, but Showtime with a very small, very elite Protoss army eats some Banelings, but doesn't quite lose the High Templar. The Nexus very low. He's forced to fight. Shin with so many numbers. He's got Lings in the natural as well. The Banes can take out the Nexus. How is he this far ahead on material? Shin with some sick macro. I thought he was giving Showtime too much time, but Showtime, I do think by going to Stargate, may have been a little bit ahead of himself. Remember, he lost so many Stalkers on that retreat early. Losing 8 Stalkers early is actually a very big expense. The second Forge didn't really help at all. Like I said, I dislike second Forge openings because what does a +1 armor upgrade do for you? I think, like, you know, the important thing is surviving the mid-game, and Double Forge never helps you survive the mid-game. I think if you add the second Forge at 10 minutes after you have your 4th up, that's great. But I think investing in that before a 4th base just seems kind of unnecessary to me. I don't know. How many gateways was he on? 7 gateways. I kind of feel like he could have grown his Stalker count. Just to have a flexible long-range unit with his Storm to defend. But I like the way Shin threatened the south, split the army, and then came in from 3 sides. And I also love the way he broke the gateway first and kind of like baited out some storms and just set everything else up nicely. I didn't think Bane speed was really going to help. But essentially, he said, I've got an attack angle here, here, and here. Yes, it will. And he was totally right. He was totally right. I was like, damn, you were missing an opportunity to kill Showtime now. But it actually was really methodical and really well set up. I do think Showtime was a bit slack on warp-ins and maybe cannon production as well. He built a lot of cannons down here. Didn't have a cannon in his natural, unfortunately. And yeah, wow, just really, I can't believe he got broken through. But he's probing up and like building gases, and it just doesn't feel like he's warping in maybe constantly. And this base is just a little defended. The Baneling spready kind of baits all the Psy Storms on the Banes. And then he has 2 more High Templar come forward. But he just doesn't seem to have enough straight up units. Colossus would be the hard counter to this. But without Colossus, you know, you've only got a limited number of Storms. His High Templar are kind of stuck down south. Banes roll into the mineral line. The Hydra spread was really good. Look how wide his front is. Showtime is forced to fight a giant arc of Hydras. I think he might have been better off giving this base up and pulling down to this one, because his army's so good at defending a choke point, but the moment Shin engineered that battle line, like, look at how long that Hydra line was. That was crazy. GG, well played. All right, guys, Showtime's going to send a probe out at the very start here of Game 4. It's in the top right, Shin in the bottom left. I think Showtime, on such a big, long defensive map, seeing such a big worker count, big base commitment, kind of assumed it was going to be a longer game, and Shin going for such a committed attack off 87 workers, like I said, that's weird, man. It's such a high worker count, it hits so late that it kind of feels like you're not doing a sharp enough timing to break a Protoss, but Showtime was going mothership. I didn't even realize. Chat point, apparently he was trying to build a mothership off the fleet beacon. Only 7 gateways, not warping in consistently. And yeah, that arc that he ended up fighting in was just really bad. So there's an interesting thing with this Zealot Archon style. I think what Showtime needs to be very aware of is that he's got a very short-ranged army. He's got, even though he went Blink that game, he had very few Stalkers. So essentially, he's got 3 range Archons, no range Zealots. And like, let's say this is the 3rd base he's defending this game, right? Let's say it ends up in a similar scenario, and Hydras are coming in from here and here, and they form this like giant arc. You just can't fight out front. You have to pull back up here and have the Hydras push through the choke point between the Nexus and this rocks, and then suddenly Storms are good again, and you can fight. The problem is, if he just stays in the open, you can't fight that. And this is the problem with going for a Zealot Archon kind of more focused, right? You do get more Storm. Cannons have good long range damage. They can kind of fight the Hydras. But because he's skimping on Immortals, doesn't have Tempests out yet and stuff like that. Like, yeah, he kind of needs to either rush to the Tempests a little bit faster so he's got the range unit doing damage, or just invest in a few more Stalkers could be a play. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know what the best answer is. Like I said, maybe give up the base and just let the Hydras take the base. But you can't be fighting into such a big arc of Hydras because Showtime style is so dependent on Storms to stop the Zerg advance. And that relies on you defending choke points if you have a short-ranged army. If you have a long-ranged army, Colossus can outrange the Hydras, excuse me, and just kind of stutter step forwards and backwards the whole time. And you can easily defend that. But without Colossus, it's a bit harder. So it's kind of cool the way Shin found that angle and actually used the Hydra's 6 range to set up a beautiful fight. As a low-ranked Terran, I can never get up in Arc. I am 2F2 happy. It's more common in like TVT or TVP. The matchups are a bit slower, more positional. TVZ, it's very hard to, but it can still happen. You get you to slowly set up those pushes. But definitely playing Terran with an F2 addiction is really, really effective until you play players who know how to split their units up and counterattack constantly, and then it's a nightmare. F2 Terran against guys who know how to counter and not just headbutt into your army is like a special form of torture. Ooh, okay. 2-pronged adept. Look at this. Comes in, joins in the natural, gets a drone, 2 drones. Showtime's a big believer in always diving to adepts. Forcing the Zerglings, getting a few drone kills, slowing down their economy. Gets 2 drones, really nicely done. I think for Showtime, he said for many years, hey, as long as I get that worker advantage early, I'm happy, basically. And then he feels like the longer it goes, it puts him ahead. He is correct, as long as he doesn't get surprised by some BS. Like, we saw it in Game 1, right? He kept doing damage with Adepts, with Oracles over and over again, and it put him in such a good position. So I do think Showtime's a master of building economic long-term advantages, but you got to realize he's constantly sacrificing army and map control to do that. Like a lot of people, when they learn StarCraft, we learn about the worker advantage, we learn about the worker count. There's a lot of hidden advantages to actually just being the guy who's a bit more aggressive. It has a bit less workers, right? I see everything that's going on the map because I'm in your face all game. I have way more time to react if you do decide to attack me. I can make a mistake in a fight, and I have room to pull back. I have the whole map to pull back across his Shin. Whereas Showtime, we've seen him mess up a fight and go, oh, well, you're already in my base, so I have to keep fighting, right? And that's why things fall apart so quickly for him and defensive players in general if they make a slip-up. So, you know, there's a lot of freedom you get if you're the attacker that you do not get. If you're the defender and you play very perfectly, it is more optimal than he would say. Ooh, 3rd Oracle just in time. Very nicely done. It's a lot of lings. He needs to go back refill. I think with Showtime, you should definitely refill this. But actually, the Lings have to come home to defend the Adepts anyway. Ooh, Evo Chamber preemptively goes down. Nice move. Oracle's going to join up with the Adepts in the main base, though. Oh, this is good for Showtime. He's got to shuffle back to the Oracles, though. Yeah, Shade. Beautiful, beautiful. He keeps the Oracles away from the Spore and just keeps trying to put them on hold position. Oh, he's near the Spore again. Oh, he's going to pull that Oracle out. Okay, the Adepts snap recall. Very nice. Shade into recall and the Oracles get out. That was so sick. Look at the units lost, guys. He didn't lose anything. He just took damage on an Oracle, which admittedly is leaving in a bad spot, but he will pull back now. And yeah, he killed so much stuff. He's killed 6 drones, 13 Zerglings, 1 Overlord, and he's going to go again, 7 Adepts. You don't even need Glaives here, man. There's only 11 Zerglings and 4 Queens. Only 4 Queens. Oh no, SHIN. Oh no, SHIN. He's in trouble, guys. This 7 Adept pressure with the Oracles is so good, dude. It's so good. Showtime's early aggro is so nice. Cancels that Shade. Finds a Queen in the open. Easy snatch on the Queen. And the Adept's going to go into that third. Continue shading to this side now. Look at all this mining time. I mean, this is not even that big of a commitment. Showtime's probing behind this. Oracle's out of position, though. He's gone home to macro, I think. Oracles could have come in and helped out there. I mean, the Adepts are still going to take a great trade as long as he does pull the Oracles away. What are the Oracles almost dying? Adepts shading into the main base as well. Focusing down even more drones. Dude, this is a slaughter. He's building cannons and batteries behind this. Showtime's not it. We was barely even looking at this. You might think, oh, he could have got more damage if he microed that better. He could have, but I actually prefer his focus because look at how well he spent his money. He's completely rock solid against a counter. He's got +1 blink. He's got 4 more gates. Templar Archives at 640. I mean, he not only did bonus damage, kept SHIN on the back foot, found crazy good trades, but he kept all of his Oracles alive and had his macro going. And that's like the safe prioritization, right? Hero would have absolutely stared at those Adepts and Oracles, got them all killed, killing another 15 drones, but then being in a somewhat compromised position behind it, you know, floating some minerals and not having cannons or batteries or anything. But Showtime does lose an Oracle there for a few more drones. Good defense by SHIN, who's somehow at 70 drones. Trying to take an infestation pit and go into Roach Hydra. Showtime's going to go for this 4th base cancel. Showtime, not a player to really go for the kill, I don't think. And oh, he pulls back the whole army for that. Well, I don't think that was necessary. I think if he pushed, he gets an easy cancel on the 4th. There's nothing on the map, except for those Zerglings. But they pull the entire Showtime army home. SHIN right now waving a red flag, going, chase me, please chase me around the corner. Let me build a Hydra army at home to actually defend. Nonetheless, Showtime gets rid of a lot of Zerglings, cancels the gateway, wall off, and he's still got a great spot. Does he see the 4th? He hasn't seen the 4th, but he's going forwards to it now. I don't think there's enough Hydras to defend. I don't think SHIN's Lings bought himself enough time. Showtime, he's in the driver's seat right now. And honestly, he could probably just shove to win. With no forward warping point, I don't mind him playing a little bit safe. Clear the creep would be really good. Yeah, good revelation. There's such a small army. You could blink on it. I know Hero would blink on that Roach Hydra right now. I'm not saying it's a good move or a pretty move, but it's something I do think he would do there. I think Hero would be like, yeah. The army looks pretty close in numbers. Blink on his face. Showtime playing a bit more chill, as you'd expect. He's going to take the Nexus. Storm's almost done. Lurker and Hive have started. Can he spare the 150 gas for +2 attack? Doesn't look like it. He's trying to mass Roach Hydraling. Oracle's still over here on the left, just looking for that 4th, but SHIN's pivoted to the bottom right. Showtime's on a very heavy Stalker army. He absolutely needs to stop making Stalkers, and he should be trying to trade. There's no reason for him to be defensive. If you've got 26 Blink Stalkers, you should always be attacking with that and just trying to trade on the map, because it gives you more room to retreat, which is the whole Stalker's advantage. So there's no reason to camp at Showtime, I think. I think when you've committed to this many Stalkers, like, you have to stay on the map. 5th Nexus goes down as well. Showtime trying to pivot to late game, I guess. Robo's finally dropped. Why is Showtime camping, guys? I'm a little confused. He's not tracking the Zerg army either with his Oracles. Oh, he's just going into turtle mode. This is what got him in trouble in game 1 and game 2. Was being in a really good position and then just sitting at home with no map vision. And just clumping his army a lot as well. I don't like it. I think it's a bad habit. I think especially when you're on a low tier army of Blink Stalkers, but you've got the really good splash damage of the Storm to support it. There's just no, you don't have an answer to lurkers right now. You don't know how far away lurkers are. I'm not sure. I know I sound a bit critical. I feel like he's in such a good position to just at least be halfway across the map, maintaining map pressure. You know, presence and making it so lurkers can't really get across the map. Now he's doing it. There we go. Okay, now he's going to push forward. Just took a bit longer to do it than I would have liked. Feels like after the mistakes he made in game 1 and game 2, I'm like, oh, I'm just paranoid for him, you know? Zealot Stalkers here. High Templar are lagging behind a little bit. It's mostly Roach Hydra army. Lurkers have now morphed, but none of them are in the natural. Oh, the Lurkers are coming forward, but they're actually so vulnerable. He can storm the ramp and just aim move the right side. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Shin's whole army stuck on the ramp. If he wants to help support the Lurkers, he has to walk into Psystorm. Oh my gosh. Showtime butchering him there. He needs to drop a few more storms, though. Does throw those. Really good fight there for Showtime. And he is in a good position. If he can keep hitting this angle and Zealot run by in the south, that'll be amazing. He's only on 8 gateways, but he's got Tempest Mothership on the way. 5th Nexus is up as well. Eight gases. It's transferred from his main. Second Stargate goes down to increase that Tempest production. +2 range only now starting. Shin's so broke, dude. 70 workers. Ooh, lurkers. Oh, High Templar in the open. Once again, Showtime gets caught without map control. Lets the lurkers into a good position. I think he should be counterattacking with 80% of his army here while just leaving a few High Templar to defend. He's got a 5th on the top side. He can take gases there and pull probes if he needs. Might want to blink actually and kill these lurkers. Those 3 lurkers on the left are super vulnerable. Gets 1. Very careful play for Showtime. Roach sets off the stasis trap. Shin's army looks kind of cocked. It's a very small army right now. He's got more units going down the left, though. This is the problem. Tempest is here. Oh my gosh, so many High Templar. The Roaches try to punish them. There's so many storms. Dude, Showtime actually controls the weather. This man has a freaking magic stick that makes it rain. And he can use it for unlimited uses. What the heck, dude? Oracle's there tagging. He's slowly wearing it down with Tempest. Surprised he didn't recall on top because it's such a small army, but Showtime loses his 5th. It feels like Showtime has such a better force right now, but giving Shin a massive amount of respect. Seems like he's a bit afraid of the lurkers, but I think he's just got so much storm. A few High Templar go down, and with Tempest out, Shin's kind of rallying into a losing position. Shin needs to give up on this. Shin, get out. Okay, he's stayed a bit long. Oh, he's losing a lot of lurkers on the retreat, man. A lot of lurkers go down there. 11 lurkers, 10 hydras, 35 roaches, 140 zerglings. He's down 4,000 in the resources lost. Showtime kept his 4th alive. He did lose his 5th. But against what? A 4-base zerg? It feels like it's such a budget position. Shin's got his Spire out. He's got no money, though. Zealot counter in the right side coming in. I don't know if Shin can even defend this. He's got a handful of hydras, a few lurker cocoons, 1 Spinecrawler coming up. Uh-oh. Anytime he loses hydras, it's a problem now. Showtime manages to catch the army on the left side. So it looks like he does do a good job of roaming there. I think with Time Warp he can bust that. But of course, he's got Tempest, he's got Immortals, he's got Storm. He's just got a much better army. Showtime once again pulls back, though. Really playing so cautiously as Showtime. Just very much playing to his namesake. A wall does not collapse. He says, I'm Demour, man. The only way I ever do a big fight is if you send an orc with a barrel of explosives under a weak point under my wall, a little drainage ditch or something, then the wall will crumble down on you, but only if you force it. No, there's just no money for Corruptors, though. I think Shin's kind of screwed here. Yeah, I think for me, I think the big thing, I think Showtime could have dominated this game 5 minutes ago, maybe 3 minutes ago, if he was on the map with his Stalker Storm. It's very hard to multitask that, though. And I think he's maybe a little traumatized from how scary Shin's mid-game timings have been, but... Oh my gosh! No, Shin! I mean, he's kind of dead. He's kind of dead. He had to try something, but that was... No. When your opponent has 10 High Templar or more max on energy, the 70 Zergling wraparound doesn't do too much. We're going to watch it one more time because that was just kind of hilarious. Trying to catch him off guard, get the Lurker Siege on him. Shin's too broke for too long in this game. But it is interesting that Showtime, you know, does feel a little paranoid here, not trusting the strength of his Stalker Storm to dominate. And I think that's a big contrast, because recently we saw, I think it was Serral Classic was the game on this map, right? You guys would have seen it, the game 2, where it was like 16 Stalkers and 5 High Templar, and Classic just pushes in and kills Serral, right? With the Stalker Storm. This game, I wonder if there's something I'm missing about like what Showtime's worried about, but about this 9-minute mark, yeah, this point, I couldn't understand why he wasn't still attacking, or at least half army here, and then half army here. Because if you have half your army here, and half your army here, there's no way across this map. Like, Lurkers are not scary. Roach Hydra, you're going to have, like, a fighting retreat across the map with Storm and Stalkers, so he can't get a good concave. It just... And you can poke in and poke out and deny bases and take traits. Like, it just feels like it's a more assertive position. But to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I always criticize Hero for not pulling home and being defensive and being too aggressive. This, to me, felt like the opposite end of the spectrum, where I'm like, why are we building stasis traps? Just tag the army and just stay on the map. Feels to me like the easy win condition here. Still go for the Robo, go for the 4th, go for the 5th. Why not? I think the macro transition was really good. I just think he could have done it with his army split in 2 halves on the map, and it puts Shin in such an oppressive position. But he kind of handed map control back to Shin, while also giving up a lot of map vision at a point where, well, this does give an opportunity for, you know, we don't know if Hive's done or not. We have no idea. It could have allowed Lurkers to come in here and get a good position. It could have allowed Lurkers to come in this left side, get a good position. And I just think he's a little bit too blind. And I think this is like a moment where, especially because he committed to so many Blink Stalkers, I would have loved to see him be more aggressive. If he was on the situation he was on in Maganatha with like 4 Stalkers, just Zealots, Archons, High Templar, going straight to the Sky Toss, it's a different story. But in this game, his Robo wasn't even done. He was kind of stuck on a low-tech game. So I felt like he kind of went back to this very defensive playstyle here. And as much as Showtime gets the win, it didn't inspire me with quite as much confidence as I would have liked. His early game harassment was god tier, but it felt like there was a point where he went, oh, I got a turtle to late game. And I don't think he needed to do that. I just think he could have been a bit more assertive in this game. So I'm not here to say, oh, Showtime's a terrible player, but I was just kind of looking at it going, oh, it's weird that he kind of gave up so much map presence for so long. That was all. He ended up pushing here, which was pretty nice. But even here, I would have loved him to stay 2-pronged, right? Half his army on each side. And this attack just felt, I don't know. I would have loved half of his army to go to the bottom right and half of his army to poke here and really use the choke points and kind of look to do the classic initiate a fight and then do a fighting retreat. I think that would have been even better. He ended up finding an amazing position because the Lurkers weren't ready and Shin fought down the ramp, and this was amazing for Showtime. But yeah, just a weird game. Sorry, I'm harping on too long. Let's go watch game 5. All right, guys, Showtime once again sending a worker down very early on Torches. Top right side. Great comeback into the series in that last game, though, for Showtime. I really loved his early game. And this is the thing. Showtime reminds me a lot of myself as a player, where there's points in the game where he knows exactly what to do, and he's so clean and organized and tight. But yeah, you know how Hero always looks decisive even when he's throwing the game? It just feels like there's moments where Showtime isn't as familiar with the situation, and oh, Shin! Hatchery! 14 hatchery before Overlord. Shin guessed he was going to go for the block. Showtime sends a probe across, doesn't manage to get the block down. And now Shin does an extract trick into an Overlord on 15. Dude, sick opening here for Shin. And Showtime, he sacrificed a lot of money to get this probe across. Great prediction for Shin to do this. If there was no probe scout and Showtime went gas first, it's actually like such a better opening for the Protoss than the Zerg, because the Zergs cut so much to get that hatchery down. Obviously Shin, yeah, and Shin was committed. He kind of had to go for the hatchery because he doesn't have an Overlord building at all. Hey, good harassment by Showtime, completely denying a mineral patch for Shin. Shin's not even trying to fight it. And this is good harassment. This is really good harassment. Shin just lost a fair bit of mining time for that. Shin used to go by Ragnarok. My man. Whew. Dude, what a crazy series. I said this would be decided by Mutalisks. Game 5, will it? Will it? Like I said, I have no idea what happened in these games, guys. I keep thinking Mutas are going to come out, and they haven't. And historically, Showtime does get surprised by Mutalisks. And I mean, at game 5, no Mutas so far. Probably the right time to do it. Is it a good map for it? If Showtime walls off this side fully, which I think he's going to, mines out these minerals and takes this third, then no. I don't think Mutas are good. But if Showtime expands to the left, maybe. The problem is if he expands towards you, it kind of defends his main. You can't get Mutas by to his main very easily. It's even though there's a little bit of dead space in the back, there's not a lot on this map, so probably not the best Mutalisk map in general. So my prediction at the start could be entirely wrong. All right, we've got 2 queens coming out. Inject immediately and creep tumor on the natural. No third base just yet. There we go. Sorry, he had hidden a drone out there. Good job, good job. So we are going to see double Chrono Adepts again. Now, obviously, there's part of me that says, hey, if we want to prioritize surprising our opponent, it would be good to mix it up and not do the double Adept each game. I think Showtime's so solid with this, I really don't mind it. I just want to see him execute it well, right? Don't just throw the Adepts into a meat grinder. There's already 10 Zerglings coming out. He's been pretty adamant about shading in every game. I would like to see him maybe not commit to the shade this game, depending on what he sees. We'll see what he sees. And try to walk in. Oh, she body blocks. That's kind of cute. And the Lings actually come forward. Some of them do anyway. The Lings do now change targets to the shade. And he cancels it. Great play. Oh, the Evo didn't go down. Showtime. Oh, it's Showtime, baby. And look at that. Ling speed's not done. He gets 3 drones mining time. Doubles back. Gets another Zergling. Only loses 1 Adept. Dude. God tier start. And SHIN has got to be getting more on top of this. He should have had 2 queens at the front. So the main thing against these 2 Adepts, someone was asking, how do you defend the Adept Oracle? And I said, just better early defense. It's just basic stuff. He needs to have 2 queens at the front and track the shade with it. He should be going 3rd queen before 3rd hatchery is what most players do against this in Europe. The problem is he wanted to not get his 3rd hatchery blocked. So he was like, I need to get this 3rd hatchery started. But I think getting the 3rd queen up early, if he had 2 queens attacking the Adepts up front, he would have done way more damage. And then the other queen in the main plus the Lings could have stopped the shade. I don't think you just walk Adepts past 2 queens attacking you. So I think that's the little detail that's needed. But SHIN, it's game 5. No room for him to make that adjustment now. If he hasn't made that adjustment and figured that out by game 5, it could be a very bad start to this final deciding map for him. The Adept's poking around. There's no oracles on this side of the map for insurance, though. Oh, he shades in. He decides this is not that many Zerglings, but of course more are popping out. He's going to shade. If he gets the 2 Adepts out, I think it's good, but oh, good surround. And SHIN here punishes Showtime for going too deep on that wave. Showtime, he saw what looked like an unprepared Zerg, but that's because the extra Zerglings hadn't quite popped out, and now the units lost tab is in favor of SHIN. So great recovery, and I'd say that makes up for the early damage. That's actually really good for SHIN. There's triple Oracle here. One has to wonder why none of those were on the map at the same time as that. But it is only 5 queens. 3 Spore Crawlers are ready. He's going to dive. 1, 2. How many drones can he get? Showtime. 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 drones. 5 drones go down. And he's going to have to pull out. Lings are on the other side. Adepts will deal with it. Is he going to lose a probe? Looks like the answer's no. Good defense here for Showtime, who could refill the low energy Oracle with energy and then join these Oracles up with the Adepts. But he hasn't done that, which means these Oracles are here, but he doesn't actually have any energy. The orange Oracle, not useful at all right now. It's only got enough energy to turn its laser beam on for 1 moment. So the other one, also, if he does a Revelation, these Oracles are useless now. They cannot fight. He does another one, but he misses the active tumor on the right side. These Oracles are not useful. They need to go home. And really good creep tumors survive there. SHIN's going to replace them anyway, of course. Whoa, he goes for the dive. Showtime right now. Pure adrenaline. Man's YOLOing like a mad dog. SHIN didn't expect that, but he is prepared for it nonetheless. 2 drones go down, and that is going to be another 4 Adepts into the meat grinder. Showtime, the start of this game was excellent. I don't know if that was an accidental finish on the shade or not, but it feels like a great start with his first 2 Adepts. Since then, Showtime's thrown away 5. 5 Adepts after the first 2 thrown into the meat grinder. Showtime needs to just take a deep breath, calm down a little bit here. As his 3rd base is up, he's going to have Storm on the way soon. There we go, Templar Archives into 2 more gateways. That'll take him to 8 gate Storm. Hydroden's coming in though. SHIN once again getting away with skipping Roach Warren. And one has to wonder, if Showtime had committed to a Glaive Adept after Oracle opening, would he have got a free win? This game, I think, definitely good advantage. Game 4 as well. Previous game, also no Roach Warren for a while. I think he added it very late. I think there's been quite a few games where he skipped on it. Oh, Stalkers do find the Zerglings. Showtime. Gonna have his Stalkers together, more than enough to deal with that. But he doesn't want to pull back, and I think that's the right call. Don't pull back, keep attacking. Previously, he kept pulling back for the Ling counters. I think it's better to keep attacking here. Stasis traps, Stalkers on the front. There's already Hydras building, though. I don't think there's a big window to find damage, but at least he'll see the early Hydras. He's got +1, almost finished. Storms on the way. Oracles pull back there. Stalkers picking off some units, getting a Queen or two, getting himself a Hydra or two. Really good micro by Showtime. Grabs a whole bunch of the Hydras, but got to blink away now. One of those Stalkers does go down. Oracle's pushing back the Zerglings, and I think Showtime, he knows there's more Hydras and upgrades kicking in. He can be a little more chill with this and kind of mentally get ready to retreat. He's going to go for the corner base up here, top left. At 12 drones. Shin's droning. What? Is he just going to do the same thing as Maganatha? I didn't have faith for it on Maganatha, and yet he made it work, going up to 90 drones almost. It was 87 drone Hydra Bane. Hydra Bane, I really feel it struggles with long-range units, but remember, Showtime's not been playing Colossus at all this series. Colossus would hard counter this. He's not going Colossus. He's relying on Storm. It's going to be about his concave management. It's going to be about can Shin use the superior range of the Hydras against what is often a very limited Stalker count, a very heavy Zealot count to find the trades. If there's no Prism on the other side to send Zealot counters in, the Zealot count is going to be really bad. So keep this in mind. You can have 30, 40 Zealots. They are not useful in a frontal engagement because of Banelings. You need to be counter-attacking with the Zealots. On this map, how do you counter? The right side's walled off. Well, you can counter down here. That's like a middle path. It's so easy to see that coming. The left path, also really easy. Like from the left to the right path, it's a very narrow area. It's hard to sneak Zealots around the edges of this map because it's a very contained combat area, which means Zealots aren't going to be good long-term. Once again, second Stargate, Fleet Beacon, Robo. It's all about survival in this game, but Showtime is gearing up for late game. This is Maganatha 2.0. Massling Hydra Drop going towards the main base. He's going to go for more Hydra Bane on the front. Showtime has been cleaning up Lings like no tomorrow, though. That's given him 1,000 value in the resource loss. Oracles do scout it. He needs to be seeing the army movement. He catches it for once, and he should be able to stop this from dropping into his base, surely. That being said, only a few Stalkers. He's going to send a few more back and a High Templar. Shin could pivot to drop there, or he could come in and just attack the natural from the left side. Shin realizes he's spotted Morphs and Banes. The drops are still going to go towards the main, but they're empty right now. So this could be a big distraction for him. Going to have Hydra Bane gathering. He's got Hydra Bane on the left, Hydra Bane on the right. Showtime on 13 Stalkers, 1 Arc on 7 High Templar. He's trying to build cannons and batteries. 2 in the natural, 2 in the fourth. 4 in the third. Mass cannon battery storm. It's the old school stats defense. 2017 is back. It wants its build orders back. Hydra Bane against mass storm cannon. The cannons aren't ready just yet. Here it goes. It's all about the side storms. Where are they? Showtime does have to double storm on the first Banelings because he pulls the trigger on the first one a little bit late. The Banelings are getting taken out by those, but another storm has to fall. Where's the army for Showtime? He's building Stargates and Robos, a mothership starting up in the middle of this, but he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers. He's not been warping in Stalkers non-stop. Where is his Stalker count? He doesn't seem to have it. The cannons have been busted by the Banelings. The Hydra's coming in. He doesn't have any army behind this. Zealot counter does come in and kill 7 drones in that backside, but once again, a big Hydra Bane timing, and Showtime being a little bit too greedy under the gun here, under the aggression of a crazy Zerg player. Reinforcements come from the right side. Remember, a lot of those units got diverted into his main by the drop, which Shin promptly unloaded and just committed everything to the front, and he finds massive monumental damage. And now, once you've broken through the core army, Storm is not as effective, right? Because there isn't as much reliable damage coming out anymore. Now, he's going to attack this side. There are some Zealot Archon High Templar there. Storm could be very good against this, but good pullbacks by Shin as well. Cleans up the Zealots. He's going to keep pushing forward and saying, hey, I'll just bait the storms, dodge, bait the storms, dodge. Yes, I'll take a bit of damage, but that means you don't have anything else left. The Hydraling Bane still here in the open, 73 drones. He's super committed, is Shin. He always was to this aggression. He lost 7 drones. He was at 80 worker, Hydra Bane, but going 8 gases, going mass cannon battery. As nice as cannons and batteries are to support, they're not as important as mobile units that can move from position to position. Shin, he's going to run into a mothership. The mothership is one of the sickest comeback units in StarCraft. If he can't get rid of this 4th base, he could be in trouble. Archon, Storm, High Templar ready. Energy recharge still 10 seconds away. Storm does land on the Banelings. Archon trying to defend there, but the Banelings find the worker line. They get the boom boom. 10 probes go down. The boom boom does land. Shout out to that one guy the other week, commented on the channel. He said, boom boom? What is this stupid child's game? This commentator, does he think I'm in preschool? I hate him. Why does he keep saying boom, boom? Shout out to you, guy. I hope you're out there still angry hate watching. He does the boom, boom. That's right. He boom, boomed the probes. He boom, boomed Showtime's chances in this tournament. It's going to be a 3-2 victory for Shin unless Showtime pulls off some absolute wizardry right now. That's exactly what Hydras and Banes do. They go boom, boom. And Protoss, he's got to do some storms. Perfect storms needed. But once again, look how good Shin is at setting up a giant concave. Look at the concave, man. Cloak comes in, but there is Overseers. Storm's trying to land as well. And that Nexus does get cancelled on that right side. You know, it's crazy because normally you don't need to go Colossus. I always thought Storm Cannon Battery would defend this. But it comes down to the devilry is in the details, and I think Showtime just needed to make more Stalkers, as weird as that sounds. I think if he has more Stalkers, he can meet the army outside his base and then do a fighting retreat. And I think that's what was missing from Showtime's defense. I'm going to break this down in the replay as soon as this game's over. Because I thought his defense was, like, setup-wise, looked pretty impenetrable. But we're kind of realizing as we see the way Shin's dissected it, that actually you do need to meet the army outside your base and then pull back and do a fighting retreat. And I think that's what was missing from Showtime's defense. He was kind of doing a much more old school, I'll just set these units up and then like have the cannons, have the Archon spread, and then just cast Storm. And that's all I need to do. But I think the modern players are so good at setting up their fights, and the way Shin angled these engagements, even though he loses this base, he's got a new one on the right. Doesn't really care too much. Actually, can Showtime bring this back, guys? This base makes no sense. Showtime should focus everything on the left side, I think, or everything on this side. Can't do both at once. Nah, Spire's on the way. Lurkaden's coming in. I would like to see Shin finish this game faster, but yeah. So the idea would be, guys, that you fight out here, and then as the Banes come in, the problem is, what's happening is he's fighting so far back, the Banes are able to spread out right before they engage. If you initiate a fight with the Zerg, a screen from your base, and then storm and pull back and fight and pull back, and you can use Blink, you can use Storm, and the Hydras, the Lings, the Banes are going to keep clumping up. It's very hard to keep setting up a concave against a mobile defense, but because Showtime's doing a very static defense, it's really easy for Shin to set up the perfect engage. And look at this, beautiful multi-prong. Ling drop in the main, he's going to go to the top left, take that base out, clears a few probes. Should try to clear these buildings as well. Every building is valuable right now for Shin. And he's probably just going to add a pack of Corruptors to dive the mothership, I would imagine, and go Great Aspire at the same time. Yeah, Corruptors would be key. He's got the supply free. If he builds 15 Corruptors, maybe 15's too many. And, uh-oh. Stalkers will eventually kill some of these Overlords. Oh, they are able to hide. Oh, good Storms! Showtime with the power of the mothership and Psy Storm. He believes right now. He needs to actually make more High Templar. I think he needs like 12 High Templar and the best Storms of all time to have a chance. 13 Lurkers morphing. Hello. Hello. No problem with Shin taking his time here. No problem at all. I'd love to see him split half his army to counterattack though. Oh, Showtime pokes in. Baits the Banes into a decent Storm, not bad. +1 air opens on the way as well. Obviously, it's Showtime's tournament life, I believe. I think this is... Or is this upper bracket? Actually, I don't know. This might be upper bracket. Showtime might get a chance in the lower bracket as well. I can't quite remember. You are going to fight it out. If there's any hope, any chance... Problem is, without a third mining, all he's got is this. Dregs. Dregs of minerals and gas coming in. Showtime is going to have to deal with link counters constantly poking in from the edges. Shin's kind of just saying, hey, headbutt into this, dude. He's going to recall the main! But I think Shin sees it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Mothership skirting the edge. She's in vision. She's in vision. Showtime. He's going to go for the recall into the main. He's going to try and clear the main out, storm the army as it comes up that ramp. I think Shin would be wise to rebuild his tech elsewhere. A lot of his tech's already in the natural where it's relatively protected. He's got 5 Corruptors building. Showtime. Does he storm the two drones? He's got so little ranged firepower. Archons with such low range, man. Shin's like, okay, You can do that. Rebuild the Spire, rebuild the Lurker Den in case these get sniped down. Definitely move his Lurkers a bit further forward. He's building a bunch of Corruptors before the Spire dies as well, as many as his supply permits. 8 Corruptors, 9. Not bad, not bad. Ling's continuing to deny these buildings around the edges, making sure there's no bases. Shin just confirming that Showtime is as desperate as he thinks. Showtime's just... he's trying to get blood from a stone. He's like, come on, man, I can do this. Shin's like, nope. No, you can't. A Templar exposed. If the Lings surround that, that'd be kind of brutal. These guys could even counter. If he gets this surround on those, any trade's a good trade for Shin. He's traded 2,000 resources worth this game. Oh! Oh, he storms! He loses a High Templar. Mama's exposed. Uh-oh! Oh, he was trying to get the mothership out so he could recall the army away, but the Corruptors intercept. And that means this army is going to need to try to clump and recall to a Nexus, but Showtime is pretty much deadsies. And I think what we're really learning here, guys, is Showtime with his style of like very efficient units, Zealots, Archons, High Templar. He just gave up, yeah, some of his ability to have as much of a fighting retreat force. And I think he's not as confident with like the Blink Stalker mobile fighting, where I think if you give a lot of the situations he's found himself in these games, it's kind of funny because like he's so much better at defending certain things and just playing a clean early game than Hero. But I think if you gave Hero a lot of the situations that Showtime finds himself in the mid game, Hero would just win the game with ease. Whereas Showtime, you know, it's different strengths for different players. I think Showtime doesn't feel as confident with a moving Stalker battle as Hero does, right? Maxpack's another example of a guy very good with a moving Stalker Storm battle. And I mean, I've been traumatized in the past by trying to get on the map with Stalker Storm and getting jumped on. So I understand where he's coming from, wanting to build the cannon battery spread, but I'm kind of shocked at just the way Shin has dismantled the cannon battery storm defense. Corruptors grab an observer. Ingbane Hydra coming in from behind. It gets eaten by Storm. Showtime's new third base starting at 18.5 minutes, guys. That's not bode well. Lurker's gonna one-shot an Archon. Doesn't mind taking a few Storms to the face. He's just gonna slowly march forward here. And even though those Lurkers do eat a Storm and another one falls, all it takes is one good volley in the middle of those High Templar to spell the end of Showtime's splash damage. One High Templar goes down. Many more heavily damaged. And if he can't defend this base, then what can he possibly do? Shin has 10,000 resources in the bank. And Showtime right now is just huffing copium. Doesn't have enough money to rebuild a new Nexus after cancelling that one. He's pulled his High Templar far back. Of course, the Lurkers will happily take position on him. And he's going to keep trying to storm, but I think he's got to send him out High Templar one at a time so he doesn't drag the splash into the pack. Corruptor Overseer looking for the observers. Trying to deny those, looking for the oracles. Lurkers on the left side coming in, being a nuisance. Shin has money to burn right now. Showtime does not. Lurkers going to be pushing there. Corruptors give the high ground vision, so he's going to start clearing the gateways out. Nice concave of Lurkers as well. Showtime is going to be forced to counterattack against a guy who's rebuilding 17 Hydras. I remember watching, I think I caught the very end of this game in the Twitch chat. I remember people going, why wasn't he maxed out? What the hell is he doing? I think he just knew Showtime couldn't even deal with this army. He was just like, I don't know, man. We'll just take our time. You know, just focus on the army. Shin can take all the time in the world, and Showtime finally does admit defeat and does tap out. GG, well played. All right, guys. So the first part of the attack to set up was this drop. And remember, Showtime is like, well, the drops are still there. I don't know if he's kept some units. He keeps way too many units in his main base for this, even though he had vision of those overlords unloading and sending the units away. So this was a mistake. He took these, he ends up leaving 4 Stalkers here, but these guys are a bit too slow to rejoin the front. So that's the first problem. The second problem is, like I said, in general, his Stalker count's just too low. He has 5 Stalkers on the front. If he had a High Templar forward with this army, and I really feel like his army could have been out here, storming on the units, and then gradually pulling back to the stasis traps and the cannons. Because as the units chase, they're clumping up more, which means stasis is more effective. Storms are more effective. You know, but you notice Showtime fights out here with no Sire Storm, and then he just kind of pulls into a corner. And he does okay, but his units get isolated on their own. He gets pushed too far back. The units from the right side aren't there yet. Or if they are, they all just got killed, I guess. I think they got killed fumbling into the fight from the right side. And if we just look at it before the whole fight starts as well, let's look at the unit number. All right, so when the fight starts, we can also see a lot of the armies in Zealots, which, like I said, are most useful doing counterattacks. Not as useful in the frontal fights because of the Banelings and how they exist. He's also got 5 High Templar. I actually think if you're playing this style, you want even more. I know that sounds a little silly, but I think, do we really need second Stargate, Fleet Beacon, Robo, that sort of stuff? I mean, don't get me wrong, these things are all good, but I think essentially, yeah, having cannons down here was not bad. Having a cannon or 2 here, not bad. But the main thing is you've got to be able to defend the actual army. And I think more High Templar is key. I think if you bring even just 1 High Templar forward here to help defend on the front and then pull back with like your units in sections, that could be really effective. But like you are outnumbered on the ground, so you need to pull everything together. And unfortunately, yeah, these units, like 5 Stalkers and 3 Zealots just kind of move commanded in. This High Templar also just moved commanded in. So there was some blunders as well. I think fight further out, pull the units from the main base down here earlier, and not as many cannons on the 4th and the natural, just maybe 1 cannon on each of those would have been good, and focus more on the actual army to defend. I would want to, in general, see a more active defense for Showtime. I think he's favored in the late game massively against Shin. I think there's no reason not to go 10 gateways, constantly warp in, Stalker, Storm, Zealot, Archon, and delay your Stargate transition just a little bit. 30 seconds to 45 seconds delay on that, I think would actually put him in an amazing position. I think part of the reason he's so paranoid about rushing 2-star Mothership is because he's worried about the Lurker timing and not having that ready. But I think as we saw in the previous games, the only reason Lurkers were as scary as they were is because he's not active on the map. So I think he both solves his weakness to this sort of timing attack and to early Lurker timings by committing to more mobile army and actually being a bit more active on the map. I actually think, even though it might not be the natural way for him to play, he does need to do it, even if it's just pushing a little bit in front of his bases to have half his army here and half his army over here or over here. It'll give him so much more time to prepare and time to pull back and drop storms. And I'll tell you, as a Zerg player, chasing while spreading, very frustrating. Often you have to pull back and reset your whole army into pre-split groups. It just gets a little bit disorganized and chaotic. Nonetheless, Shin playing fantastically, and I am shocked that he actually won with 2 Hydra Bane timings in this series. Perfect usage of the Hydra Bane for Shin, and really impressive ability to crack such a defensive player in Showtime. GG, well played.